Hey, I'm Jan. I'm from Germany. I'm a scientific researcher at the Institute for Applied Computer Science at Leipzig. I'm also doing my PhD at the Freie Universitat in Berlin. I am a researcher and developer within the FastLisa project. For this project to classify statements as hate speech, we are working with already existing huge trained models. These models have seen a lot of data and have understood a lot of structural information about this natural language they've been looking at. But for these models to be used in our use case, we now give them more of our data and we give them more of our annotation schemes by retraining them, at least slightly retraining them with our data and our structures. They're able to combine these two knowledges and solve our problem looking at the many different definitions of hate speech. This is a very challenging problem for machine learning, but we are getting closer to having a clear and good working classifier. This application is fundamental importance to understand for the future why we need to explicitly build machine learning models for hate speech detections within youth language, due to individual and new and difficult character of the language used by adolescents, which is fundamentally different as the language used by adults. I think these projects are important to bring the debate about hate speech online more into the focus of the public. I think it's really important that we understand that we can really choose how we want to communicate online and what we want to see online and what we don't want to see online. And I think it's really necessary to go into the schools and teach these children that just because it's online, it doesn't mean that we can throw away other social norms that we have worked really hard for. What we're researching here and what we're building within the FastLisa project is a setup and an application that will impact the fundamental of communication and how we work with the internet in the future. Thinking about communication online and thinking about hate speech especially, but also other aspects as, for example, spread of fake news or problematic language like cyberbullying, for example, that is something that is fundamental for where we go as a society and where the internet develops in the next years. We have to rethink the way we use the internet and we have to rethink the way we communicate online and what we think is acceptable and what is not acceptable to be able to grow as a society and go further in our development in a positive direction. I think it's important to mention that whenever you talk about automatic hate speech classification online, you are always walking a fine line on where does freedom of speech end and where the conversation about limiting the possibility to spread hate speech online starts. And in this case, I think that it is really important to understand that we are not here trying to build a classifier to limit freedom of speech, but we're here to create safe spaces for people to express their freedom of speech without being insulted or slandered or harassed or threatened, which is really a key part of our democracy. So in the end, we're not building some evil classifiers here. We are working on building a space on the internet that is free for all and safe to be in and communicate in with each other.